Hey there, Rick Sage, recording at the Rimrock Studios in Bishop, California. Welcome to Season 2 of the Outdoor Biz Podcast, where I speak with retailers, brand managers, athletes, executives, and others in the outdoor biz and share their stories, tips, advice, productivity tricks, and ideas you can use to take your career or business to the next level. Today's podcast is brought to you by WordPress. I've used WordPress to build a number of websites, including Stillwater's Consulting and the Outdoor Biz Podcast. There are a number of themes and plugins available both free and for purchase, enabling you to easily create the custom look and feel you want. If you're starting an online business, publishing a blog, and looking to take your online presence to the next level, visit theoutdoorbizpodcast.com/WordPress and get going today. With simple installation tools and thousands of themes to choose from, you'll be up and running in no time. Go to theoutdoorbizpodcast.com/WordPress and get your site launched today. Hey guys, this episode is with John Mead, the trail boss at Adventure 16. John has been guiding the troops at A16 for over 20 years. We talk about the history of A16, his perspective on 2017, how the year went, and the cool things A16 has planned for 2018. Welcome to the show, John. Good to chat with you. How's it going?
Thank you. Good, Rick. Good to talk to you. I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, thanks. Me too. It's been too long in coming. Good weather down there. It's a little chilly, but a sunny day, I'm sure.
It's a beautiful day in San Diego.
Yeah,
and
good.
It's clear, and it's actually a little bit chilly, which is great for us leading up to Christmas here. And this week is really important for us as retailers, as you can well guess.
It's a big week.
Most of our business is done not online, although we sell online. We're really dependent upon this week for people that don't shop online, and It hasn't felt like Christmas up until this point. So because it's been so warm down here and all these fires that we've been dealing with. But,
that's scary.
Yes, it's very scary.
Yeah. So
great to be with you.
So the first question I have is, tell us a little about that cabin in Idaho I've heard so much about. I've heard you've had a lot of a hand in making it cool and building it and all those things.
Yeah, we've got a family cabin up against the wilderness area in the Sawtooths up in central Idaho, and about 2.5 hours from where I grew up there in Twin Falls.
Oh, cool.
And my father got the permit for the Forest Service to build it back in the 60s.
Wow.
It's one of the last cabins in that area to go in before the Forest Service stopped doing that in that area.
Uh-huh.
And so it's on Forest Service leased land, and in 1975, a family partner and I built that cabin. I was in college,
cool.
College at that point, and it's just the old log cabin and no electricity. Although I did cheat and put some like a Goal Zero system in.
There you go.
A couple of years ago.
Good.
But it was meant as a remote cabin, and I still use it. I use it a couple times a year. And
nice.
Actually go up there with a bunch of A16ers a couple times a year. We're heading up there in January after OR, and love to have you join us if you'd like to. It's a
cool, thanks.
alumni gathering that we have after OR. It's going to be a little harder now that we're in Denver to get up there from Salt Lake, but we're going to make it happen.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for the invite. I'll see if I can add that to the list. So was your first exposure to the outdoors up there? Must have been, huh?
Yeah, it really was. My first exposure to the outdoors was a really young age. I'd listen as a little toddler. As a little kid, I would listen to my dad tell stories about him coming back. He was an avid backpacker and peak bagger and environmental activist, and so although he was a banker and a Navy captain, kind of a stern guy. He loved the outdoors, and so I would hear stories, and he took me on my first trip when I was about, maybe six years old.
Oh, wow, very cool.
And I grew up in southern Idaho, which is in the middle of farm country. However, we were about an hour and a half on our 10 speeds from some mountains south of us, and about an hour and a half if we bummed a ride up to the world-class skiing in Sun Valley, and another hour up over the Lena Summit into the Sawtooths, which are, as you know, some of the most magnificent mountains and valleys in the headwaters of the Salmon River right there. So we had,
Are you near the Big Lost River up there?
No, the Big Lost River, I think, is over to the east of that.
Okay.
So that's the Lost River Range is where Mount Laura is, which is the highest place in Idaho. This is two mountain ranges over. There's got the White Clouds, and then the Sawtooths.
Gotcha.
So,
okay. Yeah.
Lost River Range, White Clouds, Sawtooths. There's a few other mountains in there, but nonetheless, that's how it goes.
Yeah, I was up at a Earth First rendezvous on the Big Lost River. God, this was years ago. I was still teaching at Palomar Mountain. Beautiful country up there, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I go up there, like I say, a couple times a year.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And what was your first outdoor job?
First outdoor job was actually, believe it or not, making T-shirts for A16 in a local mountain shop and local ski shop in Twin Falls. There, I had a little company that I started back when I was a freshman in high school.
Oh wow!
And one of the products that I made was silkscreen T-shirts, for the baseball teams.
Yeah, nice.
And others. And
man, you were ahead of your time. That is all the rage these days.
Yeah, well, the funny part about that is, again, my little company made a lot of different products, but T-shirts was one of them. When I went to college in 1974, I decided to just put the whole thing on hold and not because my thought was that how long can this T-shirt phase craze last?
Right.
So shows you what I know, right?
You're ahead of your time. Well, we've all
don't ask me about the future because I can't predict it.
We've all had stuff like that. So you guys are looking to have Sorry, go ahead.
But then again, I mean, that was actually a vendor for A16 and among others,
good, yeah.
And that was my first outdoor job.
Yeah.
And then in 1970, when Mick and with the help of my dad bought A16, I had a little bankrupt a company that was going bankrupt at the time. I started hanging out here in the summers, and stayed here ever since.
Been there ever since. That's been a good run. Yeah.
Seen a lot.
Yeah, exactly. You've seen a lot of great people come through there and a lot of changes. So you guys are looking. Obviously, December's a big year for retail. How was A16 overall? How did you guys do in 2017 so for?
We did okay. Our sales were flat.
Yeah, that's good. This economy.
Yeah, I guess you want it to always to grow, and especially when there's increasing costs and competing and in this competitive environment, is so tough. You need to spend money on helping to differentiate. So I have to say it was one of our most challenging years ever.
Wow, really interesting. Yeah, well, retail.
We still had a great time doing it. I mean,
yeah. Well, you guys look. Every time I go down there and visit the store, you guys look like you're having fun. Put on some good events, and in this retail environment, though, I think flat is decent. It's as hard as that could be.
If you can't have fun doing it, what's the point?
There you go. That's right. So, what were a couple of the big wins for you in 2017?
We did a lot of things we were proud of. Nothing really huge that stood out, but as you know, because I know you attended some of these, and you remember from the old days when you were at A16 back 100 years ago in the 80s, I think it was. You were with us.
That's right. Yeah.
We miss you, by the way. We can come back anytime.
Well, thanks. I'll stop in. I stopped in. I was just there with the Donate a Pack group, and they did. I think it was the Radical Reels was being presented.
Right.
That was a great night.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, that was a good night.
Yeah, good. Glad you could make it.
Yeah, very fun.
We did a record number of events.
Cool.
Something A16 has always done, but believe it or not, and I like to throw this figure out, we did, I think it was 140 individual events.
Wow.
Between all four of our stores in 2017. And
awesome.
that was up, maybe 10% from the year before, about 20% from the year before that. So that's been a major focus of ours. 12 of those evenings or events were, and these are mostly inside the store, but a few are outside the store when we host the Bat Mountain Film Festival World Tour. And, that's 12 of those 140 or so nights. And those are, huge, and we sell out, essentially every night.
Yeah.
So, and all kinds of events. We don't pay our presenters, and they do it out of, because they either just love talking about it and interacting with other people, or they're guides and they want to, pitch their trips.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
We're 3 years into what I should say, shared a little dirty laundry here, a POS, point of sale system integration. And I have to say that this year has gone better than any other year before.
Good. It was, making progress.
Everyone has problems when they
those things can be so challenging.
But nonetheless, after 3 years, we're we're finally got our head above the water with it, and I think it's now able to be a good tool.
That's great.
We had record participation with our outdoor challenges that we do. We challenge our customers, as you might know, to do various things in the outdoors that push them to their limits and sometimes over. But we had
awesome.
record numbers of people signing up for that, and for the first time this year, we tied a nonprofit to it, and people gladly paid their $5 entry fee to fill out to register it, and
Perfect.
we raised a few $1,000s for some nonprofits, which we'll talk about later, I think. We did something really fun that I was really proud of this year, and we've always been fairly close with the Pacific Crest Trail through hiking community.
Mm-hmm.
Because of where we are, not just 40 miles or so from the southern terminus. And this year we really stepped up, and I think we can carry the title as Trail Angels.
Oh, perfect!
We, as you might know, and not to go into too much detail here, but there's a family that hosts and that allows PCT through hikers to stay the night or 2 or 3 at their home here. We'd send a car over every day, and my expedition, and we'd haul 3 to 6 through hikers over to get last minute supplies at A16.
Perfect.
And then we had a hand in taking them up to the trail in the morning, because these guys fly in from all over the world, and they don't have the ability to drive up.
We see them roll through Bishop here in about March or April, depends. This year was, man, those guys had a tough go of it this year. They were yo-yoing back and forth and bailing off the trail here in Bishop. They looked haggard, the ones I saw. Man.
Oh, yeah, I'll bet. I saw a few of them too, and I know the feeling they were. It was a logistical challenge for them all, but good for them. I mean, it's not an adventure until something goes wrong. I think Elon Chenard coined that phrase, but I love it, and it's great to see the tenacity that those folks have. Anyway, we became friends with a lot of them. We've done some things like that for years, but this year I think we stepped up in a big way.
That's great. Yeah, that's a good group to support.
Those are a few of the things that we're proud of.
That's awesome. And so, are you gonna do a lot more events? What are you hoping to improve for 18? Obviously, that software 18, will be a lot better. We've had probably another 5% or so events.
Wow, as you know, you're signed up for one now, and we hope to get you back, for a photography workshop or clinic.
Rick Say's Photography will be down there. That'd be awesome. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We're delighted to have it. Anytime we can have an alum come and do something like that is even better. So,
cool.
And so we're looking forward to that, and we've got a number of interesting ones that we don't. About every year we keep about 75% of the ones that are winners and the people, show an interest in.
Right.
And about 20, we change over about 25%. So
that's good. That's probably keep it fresh. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. You want to keep it a little bit fresh, but people, our most successful clinic is just how to climb Mount Whitney. We do that 4 times a year, believe it or not.
With Wedberg, I saw him the other day up here.
Yep. Yeah, right. Yeah, Kurt does a great job.
Yeah.
He's coming in January, end of January, right after Outdoor Retailer to do his another round. And Kurt's been doing that for years and years for us. And we have a couple of other, you have the other guy you interviewed, Jack Northam.
Crazy Jack. Yeah.
He does 2 of them. He does we've done it at Whitney in a day in June, and then in how to do it in fall, what to look out for in fall, in September. So we'll do those, and we still get, anywhere from, 30 to 80 people show up for those. And so we'll
that's
do
great.
it until they stop. But we'd like to shake it up a little bit and add new ones every year.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Crazy Jack was on episode 45 back in October.
Yeah,
he's amazing.
He is, he really is. He's something else. So watch out. Now he's retired, so he'll even step it up. We'll see.
Exactly. Yeah, right. He'll expand it.
This coming year, 2018, we're putting up something that we've, has always been on our list, and something we've done kind of informally. But we're going to sign up the number of ambassadors.
Oh.
These challenges, A16 ambassadors and outdoor ambassadors in our local market. Our vendors are very excited about helping with that program too.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
But
we've made so many great friends just because of the community we have here, and these challenges that we do. Is we've been able to identify like we've never been able to with all these people helping us with our social media and blogging as they do these challenges.
Mm-hmm.
That we're signing many of them up to be outdoor ambassadors for us, and I'm looking forward to that program.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
So those are a couple things we've got to look forward to in 2018.
Very cool. That sounds like an exciting year for you guys. So I was talking to a few of my compadres, A16 compadres. There's a bunch of us, as many folks know. And one of the things we were talking about was A16 has spawned a number of folks that have gone on to high-level leadership roles in the outdoor biz. What do you think was in the water, so to speak, that made that happen? I mean, guys like Mike Wallenfels and Michael Hodgson and Tim McGuire.
We are proud as punch of what a lot of A16ers have gone off and done in the outdoor industry, and boy, to get all those guys back, those men and women back that did amazing things over the last 55 years would be awesome. But that's never going to happen. So
you never know. I was talking to a couple of folks this morning about doing an Outdoor Biz Live event down at A16. So maybe we'll get a few of us to come back and do that. I'll talk to you off the air about that. We won't bore the audience, but that's going to be a couple new episodes, probably once a month, hopefully, Outdoor Biz Live, where we go somewhere and just sit out by a campfire or at an event and talk shop.
Love it.
Yeah, cool.
Sign us up.
Awesome. Well, we'll do it. Yeah.
Well, the neat thing about having that sounds fun, Rick. I look forward to being part of that. The neat thing about having so many folks that have stayed in the industry after leaving A16 is we just have all these wonderful friends out there that that know us inside and out, and and love the company and the culture, and help us out, and it's been we're just super proud of that, as I think you know.
Well, we're proud of having the patronage too. I mean, it's the heritage. It's been awesome being a part of it.
I think a lot of it is just luck and all, but also luck can be formed, and I think we set some things up for that. I've pondered this question many times before because I think it's important because we want to continue that legacy of being the place where people are introduced on their first or second job in the outdoor industry and go on to do great things. I think a big part of it is just the culture that that Mick created, back in the 70s and when he was here in the 80s, early 90s, and just his personality and the way that he taught and it mentored people and cared, so much, and the principles that I learned. I had he's my uncle, so I had the privilege of hanging around him all my life. And in 1968, I was living up in Idaho. It's 5 brothers and sisters, and as most responsible parents do when they've got 6 kids, is they farm them all out in the summertime. And my destination most of the summers between 68 and the time that I went to work for A16 10 years later full time in 78 was spending summers down here.
Oh, cool.
When I wasn't building that cabin, you start and just follow him around on his heels. And I was admired him, a great entrepreneur, smart businessman, a wonderful guy, and he taught me a lot, and so he just had that he had that nature about him. So what he formed and what he taught was a big part of that. And I tried to carry that on. One of the things that I think you probably have heard or know and know yourself was that we're big on education. I mean, learning is one of our values, and is whether it's vendor clinics, on a regular basis in a formal fashion, fun but formal, or learning how to sell and learning how to manage. We always did it on the cheap, but anytime that we could, we would. We actually 4 times a year we bring all the managers together. Part of that is learning how to manage people. And,
that's important.
Studying the culture. One of the things that I think I've put at the forefront of since I've been here, and certainly since I became president in 1992. Was to just preach our, over and over and over again, our mission and our values, and make sure everyone knows that. So we're talking that common language. And as you know, Mick and then me later and others have been managers who don't hover over you. And
it's carried on. Yeah,
it allows people to grow, and when they spark and do something interesting, we encourage them. Go for it. The worst that can happen is we make a mistake and we go out of business. But
you go back and fix it, though. I mean, that's the other beauty of if something went wrong, you just go back and fix it. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's done A16 very well over the years, and all of us that have gone on and do other things, it's done us well over the years as we've ventured forth. So Thank you for that, thank you. Both you and Mick. It's been fabulous, and keep it up.
Well, yeah, and really, many people that have been in leadership positions over the years that have been able to help with that, and if you can name them, most of them have been interviewed on your program.
A bunch of them have been. That's right. A bunch of them have been on the show. You're right. Yeah. So we talked early in the show about nonprofit. Tell us about some of the nonprofits you guys work with.
Well, there's a few things that we do at A16. One is supporting local organizations who introduce youth to the outdoors, who protect wild places, and who teach outdoor skills so that people can use the outdoors responsibly. So, if there's a local organization or a national organization that has a local chapter here that does one of those three things, they can count on us to help amplify their voice to all of our customers, and they can count on us when they have their annual fundraisers, to sometimes show up and to always, get them, raffle prizes and those kinds of things to raise a few bucks, and our vendors, happily help us out with that, and they can will be their members. So that's what we do on the outreach on the local nonprofits.
That's great. Yeah.
We also have it's 20 years old this year, but is our own Adventure 16's Donate a Pack Foundation.
Yeah.
And the best way to describe that, Rick, as you know, is that we are the goodwill for outdoor in Southern California, and the way it works is customers and employees, give their old gear to the program, and we turn around and re-give that gear. We have to sort through it a bit, and we don't do much in the way of repairs, but we sort through it and get that the best of it back out to nonprofits in Southern California who are taking underserved youth outdoors.
Right.
And not leaving them there, but bringing them back.
Well, we'll put a link to that in the show notes too. That's a great group.
Great.
Yeah.
So that's the second thing too. We were started by a Boy Scout troop, an Explorer Post, back in the 60s, 1962, and last couple of years we've reformed a cruise, adventure crew is what they call them now, but they're high adventure.
Oh, cool.
Kids doing high adventure stuff, and they're adventure crew number 16.
All right, awesome.
We've got that going now, and on a personal level, I've done set on boards and that kind of thing to form parts and whatnot. So I think we do more than our fair share. My father always told me that the giving back was a way to to pay for our rent on this planet while we're here.
Right,
so I've always been a part of that. My dad was very involved with that kind of thing, and I've tried to live that, keep that legacy going.
That's great. Yeah. So, what other outdoor activities do you participate in? Do you still get out much? I think you do, from what I hear.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. A lot that's changed over the years. From back in the day when we were riding our bikes to the South Hills, it seemed like every weekend. But my backpack, that's primarily what I've always considered myself. If you got to label somebody, backpacking is what I've always
that's a good one.
Enjoyed starting to use it. Hiking, I mostly saunter these days, but nonetheless, I love getting out and hiking. But I got to tell you, my favorite thing now, and it has been for the last 3 years now, 2.5 years, is camping. Taking my 5-year-old Richard camping, and we try to get it out there every 2 or 3 months.
Wow, excellent!
And he just absolutely loves it.
Cool.
And I learned the mistakes that not that I did it badly, but I drug my kids, my two boys, Jordan and Spencer, through this to the Sierra and local mountains and all, and they enjoyed it for the most part, but I was as a dad, it's a little different. As a grandfather, I let him lead, and we just have an absolute blast.
That's awesome.
And then 2 or 3 times a year, I make it up to our cabin up in the Sawtooth.
Oh, cool, perfect, yeah.
There's all kinds of hiking, to do up there, but a lot of projects to do on a cabin, and just sit on the porch enjoying the outdoors. Those are the activities.
That's great.
I focus on.
Perfect. And do you have any suggestions or advice for folks wanting to get in the outdoor biz or grow their career if they're already in the outdoor biz?
Yeah, I do, and I think probably these things aren't coming as a surprise because it's the kind of thing that that we've sparked has been and tried to teach people as they come through age 16. And the first ones, it's pretty easy. I'll tell you about, and that's I would advise anybody that wants to get into the outdoor business. I don't care what level they're trying to get in at. And it's always the same answer: work retail.
Yeah, a lot of folks have said that on the show. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's for 6 months, and but if you want to be a rep or you want to be a president of the North Face or whatever it is, get in there and work retail, and part of it is to understand the business.
Well, you get exposed to all aspects of the business when you do that. I mean, from a rep coming in and doing a clinic, and you learn about the repping side, and then you get a little more detail about some of the brand stuff. You just get exposed to all of it.
Absolutely, you get a picture of what it's about, and and that's part of it. The other part of it is, and you got to go to work for a good company, or you have to be self motivated to do this piece of it, and that's to learn how to sell. That's a skill that everyone uses, and I don't care whether you're working the sales floor or running a company. You're selling all the time, and so I would just advise people to pick carefully. Don't work for any retailer. I mean, if the idea is, if you walk into a shop and they're just sitting there chewing gum, sitting in a chair behind the counter, that's not the kind of retailer to go work for.
You got to pick your spot.
Whether it's in the outdoor business or not, work for somebody that can teach you the skills. And if they don't, the bookstores are full of books and podcasts and and all kinds of things to learn how to sell. So get a picture of the outdoor retail or the outdoor business, by working retail, and also learn how to sell.
Yeah,
the second thing that I would advise people to do is, and this is probably the toughest thing of all, and especially in what's going on right now, I think. Is to learn how to take criticism, and to not only learn how to take it, but ask for it.
Yeah.
And you rarely see that, and even in my generation, you didn't see that a whole lot. But our generation did a great job of bringing up some, really great kids, and now they're millennials in their 30s and all. But the thing that I find out, and we hire a lot of these people, they really, they're sensitive and they're wonderful people, but they're really reluctant to take criticism, and they never ask for it. Yeah. So, and that's probably the most important thing. The other thing, and this is what Mick told me and others, I think maybe it answers your question earlier about A16ers, but he always said, act like an owner.
And, that's great.
As you know, we became an employee-owned company along those lines back in 1987. Right. And when I say it, don't confuse it with a boss. I mean, act like an owner in how you act.
That's a very good distinction.
The worst thing you can do is have that kid come in, that's I shouldn't call them kids, but let's say they're 19 years old and they come in and you tell them to act like an owner and they start bossing people around. That's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
Spend your time, spend your money, talk to customers, solve problems.
Ask questions.
As though you own the place.
Yeah, that's good.
And by golly, you keep doing that, someday you will.
You might. Yep. It worked for a few of us. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
I've got a few other ones written down here. I don't know if you need to cut me short on this one, but I've got a couple of others.
We can go a couple more.
Okay. They think it's important to have clear written career objectives and clear values written down that guide you on that. Yeah. Reading, we'll talk about this later, but understanding business stories. And the good news about all this, I mean, the good and bad news, I suppose, about all this, if you do these things, and certainly other advice that you get on your program, because most people never will do these things. So if you do those things and you're disciplined about what you do and what your plan is, you're gonna rise to the top.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You got to put in the effort. It doesn't just happen. Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah. And so, speaking of discipline, do you have any daily routines to keep your sanity or to keep sharpen the saw, so to speak? You meditate or walk the dog? Play with the grandchild?
I don't have a dog anymore, and I don't meditate. I tried, but it wasn't successful. Yeah, the best thing to say is a tall glass of cold Metamucil in the morning, and then a couple of leaves at night, and there you go. I'm pretty good. keep my sanity, I'm a woodworker, a craftsman, a builder, and I do it every day in my shop.
Perfect.
When I'm fixing something or repurposing a fixture around here,
there you go.
Or building a cabinet for a home or furniture, that is something that I picked up from Mick.
That's awesome. Yeah, my dad's a woodworker. It's amazing the therapy that provides. Yeah, it's awesome.
Absolutely love it.
Cool.
Yeah, I just it's my thing. So
I
stay busy. I keep my mind and body busy. I'm not big on. I've never been that fond of exercise routines, although I admire people that can and have that discipline, that kind of thing. But I move fast, do my own yard work, take hikes.
There you go. So you stay in shape that way.
Pretty good shape.
Yeah, that's good.
Pretty good shape. My mind's pretty clear so far.
So I'm sure
young, anything could happen.
That's right. You never know. I'm sure you read a lot. Do you have any favorite books, or have a book that you give as a gift frequently?
I don't give gifts as a book, or excuse me, I give books as a gift. Primarily just because it's a gift with a burden. But I do I do recommend a lot of books. I don't really read anything but emails and contracts.
Okay.
Anymore.
Do you have a favorite book that you have read?
I listen to 2 to 3 books on Audible.
Oh, good. Yeah, I love Audible.
Every month, and I have since I was in college. A roommate of mine that had the same reading struggles as I always did. Was listening to his textbooks. So
it's awesome.
The world of that, and books on tape after that, and now it's all turned into Audible and Amazon company and all. But I could. This is my favorite question. I could talk all day, and yes, I do have some favorites. Give
us a couple of your favorites.
Okay. Well, anything that Irving Stone or Michener or David McCullough, has written.
Okay.
Ken Follett, Walter Isaacson. There's a book that I'm reading right now on the innovators, which is the history of the personal computer and the internet.
Yep.
Fascinating story. The American Spirit. I just finished. But my favorite books of all time would have to be Irving Stone's "Men to Match My Mountains."
Oh, that's a great one.
Struggle of overcoming all the obstacles and the Colorado and the Rockies and Utah and California. And
that's been
Sierra.
mentioned before. That's a classic. Yeah.
Love the book. I think a book that 2 books that changed my life were In Search of Excellence by Tom Peters. And long ago, 30, 40 years ago, reading How to Win Friends and Influence People. And
that's still a good one.
Kid. Oh yeah, it's totally apropos, and I've read it several times, and it is. I was, believe it or not, a very shy, insecure kid that kind of kept to himself up until about college or so, and that book really, really helped me.
Yeah, that's good.
But I have to tell you, and now my favorite book though is, and we read this, at least once a week, to my grandchildren as as my grandson as he's going to bed, and that's, I think it's a 1971 a copy of the Boy Scout Manual.
Oh,
nice. He loves that storybook.
That's cool.
And you have to. We flip through the pages, and of course, Grandpa embellishes it beyond belief. Unless he just that's his favorite.
That's awesome.
Book.
That's a good one. Yeah, I like that.
Revisiting that. And I could go on.
That's good. No, I like that's a good place to stop. That's a classic. Yeah. So
I love books. I'm a very curious person, but I'm a lousy reader. So
well, hey, Audible works for those that can't read. I was talking.
They're one of your sponsors, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. I mention them on the show frequently. Yeah. So, what's your favorite piece of outdoor gear under $100? I know A16 probably has a number of them.
Well, yep, we sure do. And my favorite piece of gear, of course, is the A16 Sasquatch Keep It Wild trucker hat at $24.
Oh, cool. All right, perfect. We'll link to that. Yeah.
Well, we can do that. The other, actually, the gift, whether it's a gift I like to give to folks, and I just love this product, although it hasn't been terribly successful. But it should be, and that's this little Snow Peak. I can't remember exactly the name of it, but it's a little lantern that just burns a flame.
Oh,
a little tube. You know that? You know that?
I don't know that one. No, they make some cool stuff. I know that.
Just 2 years ago, and the beauty of it is that we all, as backpackers, we all end up with all these half empty or it's just a little bit of fuel at the bottom of it, and you can't just throw those in the trash. That would be irresponsible. They got to be empty. So this thing you can have an eighth of a butane tank.
And, perfect.
it'll burn for hours.
I was just talking to somebody about that the other day. Excellent. Yep.
Yeah.
We'll definitely link to that.
It's $40.
Yeah, perfect.
And I love it for a number of reasons. I love the flame. The open flame, although it's behind a piece of glass.
Yeah.
And it's just an environmentally responsible thing to do.
Exactly. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. We'll definitely link to that. Yeah. So as we go to wrap, is there anything else you want to say to the audience or ask of the audience? Stop by A16 if you're close and do some shopping this week.
There you go. Thank you for that plug. Two things. One is I'll look forward to the feedback. The people.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Interview.
I'm sure this will get listened to wide and far. There's a lot of A16ers out there, if nothing else.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And I also really would like to thank you for putting the Outdoor Biz podcast together.
Thanks.
You've been going now, I think, since June, and you're getting this collection, Rick, that is just fantastic.
It's been pretty fun. It's been pretty fun. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that.
Enjoyed it. I look forward to all the ones that are coming up. I've learned a lot and learned a bit of history that I didn't know about the.
I think there might be a book in that somewhere. So keep your eyes out for that.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I may have to go back and get permission from everybody to use what they said, but I'm sure they'll go for that. Well, thanks. I appreciate the time, John. It's been great chatting with you. Where can people find you? Email, Instagram.
Email is JD Mead, JD MEAD at Adventure16.
Okay, perfect.
Probably the best way.
Yep.
And, Instagram. I'm not a great poster, but I'm on Instagram. Facebook. I've got a page. I've kind of taken a hiatus from Facebook. For the last year or so.
Yeah.
Just because I love that kind of stuff, and it just sucks me in, and I just don't have that time. But nonetheless, you can find me there.
Perfect.
Too.
Well, we'll link to your email. We'll link to your Instagram. We'll definitely link to the Adventure 16 website. And it's been great chatting with you. I look forward to seeing you soon. We'll see you in Denver.
Thanks. Yes, we will. Just in a month.
Yeah, good.
Thank you, Rick.
All right. Thanks, John. All right. Have a good day. All right. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with John Mead. You can catch up with John by email at jdmead@adventure16.com. Follow him on Instagram at John D. Mead. You'll find links to everything we discussed in the show notes at theoutdoorbizpodcast.com/episodes/67. I would be grateful if you visit iTunes and give us a rating and review, and be sure to share this episode or tell a friend about it. Thanks go out to Jason Cox for the new Outdoor Biz logo. Great work, Jason. Thanks. I'd love your support too. Visit the support page on our website or go to patreon.com/theoutdoorbizpodcast and see the many ways you can support the show. Thanks for listening. If you want more of the Outdoor Biz podcast, you can subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcast. Be sure and go to theoutdoorbizpodcast.com where you'll find all the episodes, show notes, and much, much more. Thanks for listening, and until next time, be sure to make time to get outside.